Welcome to the episode of the Bourbon Experience, and we are doing a show right now. Basically, this is going to be Buffalo Trace allocated bourbons right now, and we've already had a show with the Rock Hill with E.H. Taylor. We also got our hands on Blanton's Gold. We've also done a show on Blanton's, and I don't know if we've even talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about Eagle Rare. We've talked a little bit about the Weller Antique 107, but we thought we'd get them all together and start talking a little bit more about, hey, what is it? What are they like? How are they taste? Are you, if you can't find them, are you missing out? Those kinds of things. So we thought we would kind of bring it out there and have a little discussion about it, because each one of these are very difficult to find. I think in Ohio, probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, the easiest one to find is probably the E.H. Taylor in Ohio.
No, lately it's been the Weller.
Right, but not the Antique though.
Antique has not been hard to find.
Okay.
Green, all over the place.
Yeah. So right, Special Reserve. So we're saying that these two right here are the two easiest to find. Blanton's, we get about 5, 6, 7 dumps, in Ohio a year.
Yeah.
The Rock Hill, forget about it. It's almost impossible.
It's almost like you got to win a lottery for those two.
I think somebody.
You think somebody? That's a family thing. If
Yeah.
you're not part of our family, you don't get to win. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Me? A godfather? Yes. Never go against the family, man.
You're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
I guess. No. It's not even the family. It's just that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
So Nathan won this in the Ohio lottery. He won this one, the Ohio lottery.
Still had to pay for them.
Yeah, but
They
they're
just won
both
the right to buy them.
at MSRP, not at right. And so that's a big difference. A big difference. And then Eagle Rare, I found this bottle. It was June of this year, and I've been milking it. I have not seen another Eagle Rare in Ohio since.
That one's probably once or twice a year.
Yeah. And
maybe 3.
Yeah, and it's really hard. That one's not as easy to find. If you go down to Buffalo Trace, they have basically a rotation of distributions, and that can go from Blanton's, E.H. Taylor, Eagle Rare, or the Special Reserve, Weller Special Reserve.
But they'll always have
Buffalo Trace. Which is also another bottle that's not as allocated, but it's a little bit allocated. So anyways, here we are. We have these, so we thought we'd go through each one and talk about it. We've had each one of them. We're not going to drink each one of them tonight, but we've had each one of them. We thought we'd go through and review them.
Yeah.
So before we review them, what are we drinking? What do you got going on right now? Why are we sitting here for the review?
I got to choose whatever I wanted first, and I was tempted to sneak one of the two that Nathan had, but I knew that I'd probably lose a finger. so I chose E.H. Taylor.
Yeah, which is, I think E.H. Taylor for us is, we're going to get back to this, but E.H. Taylor is almost a home run every single time for us.
Yes, I've never been dissatisfied with having a Scotch of E.H. Taylor.
Which our brother Alex got his hands on the E.H. Taylor rye, and so that could potentially be another one that was up here on this table. So,
Joy.
Yeah, so we're eager to have that one. So, okay, how about you?
Oh, we're having the same thing.
We are.
The pipe drain cask strength.
Oh my gosh.
I brought. Daddy like.
Daddy like wingy.
And the reason I thought that was a very good bourbon as well, except it's a little on the strong side for me. So
it's a little hot. Yeah.
And being an old guy, we have to be careful. That's sort of thing.
It's just got so much like silkiness with the heat, and you're just kind of like, that shouldn't match, but it does. Really good. It's very good.
Okay, so let's dive into this. So let's talk a little bit about Eagle Rare. We've all had Eagle Rare. If you have not had Eagle Rare, this is the MSRP here in Ohio. And over here, is what it goes for, basically in the black market, or if you want to call it the black
secondary
market,
market.
the secondary market. Okay, and so honestly, this one's grown on me. So what's your points on Eagle Rare here?
So like Eagle Rare, it can vary with the bottle.
Yeah.
Because the first few times that I had it, I liked it, but there was an element of it where the oakiness from it just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
But then when I ended up getting a bottle of it, that bottle is apparently extremely good, because that one has all the sweetness that you're wanting, that a grape kind of a note in the juice that is just really good to go along with that smokiness. And my current bottle of it, I really like.
So it's funny because it says a reminiscence of a port wine, which a fine port wine. I've never read this, to be honest with you, and I wonder if that's where we get some of the grape from. Where we get a little bit of that grape.
That's kind of one of the things that Bland's, or not Bland's, but Buffalo Trace is generally known for, is kind of a fruity, sometimes grapey note, but it really comes through.
It really comes through there. Yeah. This is, I think, a wonderful bottle.
Yeah.
And it has grown on me, where before it was, okay, it's good, I don't understand all the hype, but the more and more that I have it, the more, like, as I've gotten further down, I've got to hold on to it until I get another bottle.
It was, out of all the ones that they had on their daily releases, this was the one I wanted the most, and it was the only one that we didn't get a chance to buy.
Yeah.
And I missed that.
A swing and a miss.
I also think that was fine, because it would have probably slightly disappointed me at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Now, that said, you put that in a glass of mine, and I'm not going to be disappointed at all.
Yeah.
As we've gone on this bourbon experience.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Nice plug.
Yeah, right? Because, you're watching it.
A buddy of mine, I was, and he might be on one of our videos later on, but we were down in a soccer tournament down in North Carolina. He got me a glass of Eagle Rare at a restaurant. And it was like everything I remembered. It's really good. You enjoy it?
I enjoyed the dram or so that I had.
You don't have a bottle, do you?
I believe I do.
Yeah, I think he does.
I always say,
but I just haven't gone back to it. Just only because it's high on my cost list.
Cost per ratio list.
My
It is literally pennies per ounce.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Graham.
Nor is it high on my availability list. So I tend to slow down on those things that are not as available.
Well, and that's why I've really kind of been patient with that one a little bit. So, okay, well then let's go over to Weller Antique. Now I have another bottle, so I've been kind of, I've been working on that one, and this was at one point in time probably my favorite. It's kind of shifted a little bit, but what's your thoughts on Weller Antique? If you come across Weller Antique, so right now, MSRP for this one, I think, is $50 in Ohio. So I'm pretty sure. The secondary market is this one.
Way up.
And it's way up. So, and no, I'm not selling that bottle. Back off. Back off.
You can let go of it. All right, just back away. Just back away.
So anyway, how about the Weller Antique? Let's talk a little bit about that. Completely different bottle. Completely different than the Eagle Rare.
And the whiskey is completely different too. Than the bottle. But I
do not have a concussion from his jokes. I have a concussion from my head hitting the table every time he tells a joke.
He would have gotten a red card for persistent.
All right, that's it. Red card! You're gone!
I'm gone. Okay, good to know. Okay, you know what? I'm gone. No, your ball's gone. That's what's going on.
There you go. Good.
Well, I like. I'm not a big fan of Weller Red. It's a little too. I think it's stronger.
107.
Mm-hmm.
It's what?
107.
It's 107. And it's certainly a good whiskey. I have some at home. I like the Weller Green much better.
No one says that.
How about you?
Well, I can just say to each their own, because I'll take the antique any day over Special Reserve. I'm not a huge fan of the Special Reserve. I think it is it's a decent bottle. Once I'm done with the bottle that I have of that, I don't think I'm getting another one.
Even if you go down to Buffalo Trace and we're, you can get. All right, we'll buy it. We'll just buy it and then I'll buy it off you because I still think it's a good juice for $25.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I never go to it.
Yeah,
and I don't go to it because I like the taste of a lot more stuff.
Yeah,
That's
fair.
Just better. There's better stuff out there.
And this is completely different, I think, than the Special Reserve. Completely different.
It's the same mash bill.
I know, but like the taste of it.
Oh, I just think it's just less watered down. It's just a fuller flavor. It's got. I'm always a big fan of that proofing.
107, I think, has got a little bit more. I don't know, maybe a little bit more cinnamon, flavor to it than into it, which is kind of interesting to it. I think it's just a different bourbon than even its brother, in the Special Reserve.
Yeah.
If I had to pick between Eagle Rare and Weller Antique, I'd probably take the Antique, depending on how much I had available at home. So like right now, I would go after the Eagle Rare because I have a bottle and a half of that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go after the Eagle Rare, right?
See, now I would go after the Eagle Rare because I don't want to deplete mine.
That's what I just said. I said that.
Just only because I have more available and it's readily available.
I think I said that. Did I just say that?
Maybe.
I might have just said that. I think I just said that. Now,
You said you'd go after the.
I would get the Eagle Rare. The only reason I would get the Eagle Rare is because I only have less than half a bottle. I've got a bottle and a half of it. I like it. Now, if they were even and I had a full bottle of each, I get the Antique.
Now we've also had Weller 12,
Yep,
and I'd probably take that over.
I would, and we don't have Weller 12.
Right.
That if I can get my hands on some more Weller 12, that's another really good. Okay. Let's skip over that one. Let's come to Blanton's before we go to E.H. Taylor, because Blanton's is probably a little bit more allocated, but let's talk a little bit about Blanton's. So almost everyone knows about Blanton's. That's in the whiskey world, the unique style of the thing. People get frustrated with the hype. I think the hype is a little bit overblown, but sometimes that hype kills the juice. And I think the juice is wonderful. I don't think the juice should be the hype should not be taken away from it.
Yeah.
I just think it's wonderful marketing on Buffalo Trace. So,
And I agree with
You
that.
agree with that?
There's an awful lot of skill in making a bourbon, and there's also a lot of skill in marketing the bourbon.
Yeah.
And that they've done an excellent job with the horse and with the
bottle, the grenade
size,
style bottle.
yeah.
What's nice about this is the very first single barrel bourbon that was put out there. So they've kind of got the front edge on some of that, that from that standpoint. But the juice, I will say this. Like I'll jump first on this one. When I first sipped, I've got a second bottle right there, so that as you can tell, I've kind of been working on that one. But when I first had a sip of that, it was like, whoa, this is. Now we had just come back from Kentucky, and this is back in January.
Mm-hmm.
Had a sip, and it was just like, this is absolutely amazing. As we've grown in this experience to other bourbons, it's definitely been dropping down the list. It doesn't take away from the bourbon itself.
No,
it's still good juice.
Yeah, it was probably the first one where I drank it, and I was thinking, okay, so this is kind of that creamy sensation kind of bourbon,
Very
buttery,
very good,
very very nicely coating. It's a well-made, well-crafted bourbon.
Yeah.
It doesn't measure up to some of the others in Buffalo Trace's lineup, but it's still very good. There's debate on whether or not it's worth $65. I'm not one of those proponents. I don't think it's worth $65.
I don't think so,
It's what the market bears, so good for them for doing that. I mean, really, thankfully, they're not sitting there looking at the secondary market and thinking they can bump up their prices.
So here's the MSRP, and I think it's 65 or 65.
65, yeah.
And then here is what the secondary market for. And it's interesting if you start comparing with what we've already talked about. Blanton's goes through the roof, right? I'm pretty sure. So okay, so of the three, what so you had Eagle Rare over the antique. Would you? So then it'd be Eagle Rare versus Blanton's for you. What would you prefer?
I would say, based on my consumption, I would pick Blanton's because I have more of it left.
Yeah.
If they got to be close, I might then switch to Eagle Rare because it has more left.
So we're not. Well, so
I right now don't Blanton's.
okay. So we're wonderful that our father will get into the gray area. We're just talking about what you like better. So this is the picture of all the Blanton's. I mean, the guy for like 2 months, with every time he walked in the store, he found it. So here it is. What?
You kind of got into the gray area between your 107 versus Eagle Rare debate, though.
How's that?
I'd get this if my luck.
Get out of here. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I thought it was inappropriate to go after that.
Fair enough. Oh, there's no hold barred.
Well, I can't make up my mind about this family.
No hold barred here. Yeah, so
I always bar.
fair enough. Okay, so if we're talking about strictly about flavor, then for me, it's this one right now over those three. I will take this one. Flavor, if it was strictly just that, then let's just go there. I will take that one. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Is everyone happy and content?
I'm so proud of you.
Which one? Strictly flavor.
Flavor Blanton's.
Okay. That's not a bad, I don't think that's, a bad argument.
It's 107.
The 107. Okay. All right. So now we're going to start getting a little bit into the craziness. So we'll go into E.H. Taylor. All right. And E.H. Taylor for us, again, this is another one of those bottles that when you go to,
Now this one is really special.
this is one of those that Buffalo Trace does on a routine, gives out, or you can go out and buy. I shouldn't say that they give it out, but they have for opportunity to buy about every 4 days, depending on randomness. There's a website that you can go to. Here it is. And that website, if you want to find out when you can go down to Frankfurt and purchase, it gives you a really good idea of when you can make it down there and purchase, which we use religiously when we head down there.
And we're
So get ready in February or January, Buffalo Trace.
Oh,
yeah. January is our I guess we can call it an annual trek now.
Well,
We can.
as long as we
And
go.
you can only purchase them every 6 months. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's only a 6-month purchase, so you can only do it once every 6 months. So anyway, so let's talk about E.H. Taylor. What do you say? Completely different than the other three that we just talked about.
Yep, absolutely.
It has kind of a more unique flavor, a unique pepper to it, a unique, I don't know, just the spices, the baking spices that come from it. It's so good. So I don't know that
It's for the price point, for the proofing, it's absolute gold.
It's
it hit home runs. It has the right oakiness.
Yeah.
It has the right sweetness to it. I mean, in a
It's bottled
lineup,
in bond.
it is a bottled and bond.
in a lineup of bourbons where typically you have the sweeter array, E.H. Taylor balances that out a little bit more. It still has the sweetness, but the oak comes through in a very, very wonderful way.
Yeah.
That has this come up as a contender in any Buffalo Trace blind that you can do.
To me, this is, here's the MSRP in Ohio. Well, MSRP, and then here is what the price is in the secondary market. And to me, from my own purpose, home run. This is the winner over those other three. It's not. It's just not. It's not really that close, to be very honest with you. And we're talking about really, really good bourbons. So how about you?
So you're burying the lead in what we have left to go?
I am bearing the lead. Correct. Yes.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Same as you.
I'm not going to bury a lead,
That's
but I'll take it over the 4 that we previously
what I'm talking about.
about.
Yeah, the previous that we talked about.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So now what we want to talk about is the ones that are very like these. You can't find, even if you went to the store. At least every store that I've ever been to here in Ohio, I've never seen these two.
Right.
And so if you could, then you might purchase them, but then it's going to cost you a pretty penny.
This is the equivalent of phoning a friend
Yeah.
in the bourbon world.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about Blanton's Gold. So this one, again, a very unique bottle. It's got, instead of just a kind of like a copper horse, it's got the golden horse. It's got a clear bottle. You know, it's. Oh, is that pewter? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The gold label instead of the. Appreciate that. But the juice itself, now he's been
103 proof.
and he's been kind of. You doing okay there?
I share.
He has. And if I was him, I wouldn't share anymore.
Don't plan on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the labeling is entirely different. All of the the literature on the side, and it's a lot of it's handwritten. The literature here is some of it's handwritten, but it's also just a piece of paper.
Well, so let's talk about the juice, and you're right, and let's talk about a little bit about the juice. So I don't know, you're the one that's had the most. Let's ask you. I've had it 2 times. So.
Yeah, and it's got an absolute fantastic oakiness to it. It's been in the barrels a relatively the same amount. It's just less on the water addition to proof it down. So it's 10 proof more than regular Blanton's, and it just leads to a fuller, richer flavor.
Smoother.
So you get that butteriness, but that you also add that oakiness also that I think gets lost slightly when you go with the regular Blanton's when it gets proofed down.
Yeah.
But it is an absolute gem of a bourbon. You know, is it worth 120?
Yeah.
On the MSRP? That's up for debate because it's rare. You know, you can definitely make a boatload of it on the secondary market, but it's one of those things where you're going to sit there and you're going to get to this, and I had to try it.
Yeah,
I wasn't even a second thought to put it on secondary.
Well, and I think that's what it comes down to is here's my chance to have it.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend $125 one time on this thing, and let's have it, and let's have it go.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can readily go and get, you know, at any time you want. Like when Dad goes in and finds Blanton's all the time. It's not that kind of situation. So I think one of us might have taken the jump at it. Is the juice worth $125? My personal opinion, no. But because of the rarity, it was really enjoyable.
And more so, it was worth it from the point of view of having the opportunity to share this with you guys, with our other brother, our brothers-in-law, friends, sisters, the other friends.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes these things worth it.
All worth it now, though.
It's a lot about what you're in drinking bourbon for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're drinking bourbon just to have a bourbon and so forth, then it's probably not just a cost justifiable purchase. If you're buying it to add to your inventory and share with others, then that it probably is. You may not really like it at all. I'd be
shocked,
absolutely appalled. But if for some reason you didn't like it and you just keep it on your shelf and share it with others.
Yeah.
And I would say that for all of them. They're all good.
Yeah. I would say, so let's kind of rank this, because I think that's kind of what we're getting at is that's what's fun about bourbon. It's to me, it's family. You know, you're sharing. That's what we got into this whole thing for. We enjoy the juice, sure, but it's really fun to come across a bottle and go, oh, you got to try this. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those issues. So now let's kind of rank it. So we all take E.H. Taylor. E.H. Taylor or Blanton's Gold?
That's a tough call.
And
It's
strictly for taste,
right.
And try to take everything else out from it because we know how rare it is.
I'm not even considering that.
Okay.
If you're going taste for taste, this is where you kind of have a debate on where your palate is for the day. Are you wanting something sweet? Or are you wanting something oaky? Colonel E.H. Taylor's small batch there does a wonderful little balance between it. If you want a little bit more oak, then it's Blanton's Gold.
Okay, so which one do you want?
That's kind of that's always the debate. But listen, I've yet to sit the fence on something.
You're sitting the fence now, and it's pissing me off.
Congratulations.
Don't forget, it's better to be pissed off
Than pissed on. Correct. We grew up hearing about that.
Yes.
So you're going to ride the fence?
I'm going to ride the fence on that one.
Okay, that's fair. I've ridden the fence once. You get one.
Ooh.
What would you take?
I don't like riding the fences first.
No. You've done enough of this show.
I'll go with E.H. Taylor for taste.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to make this simple. I would go with E.H. Taylor too. The Blanton's Gold was really nice and tasty. Strictly across the board, just on flavor, on what I've enjoyed on a consistent basis, E.H. Taylor for me is the one.
Yep.
All right, so last but not least, let's talk about Rock Hill Farms. And this is another one that you won through the OHLQ lottery system.
Yep.
This one is another really rare one, almost to the point where it's as rare as the Blanton's Gold.
I'd say probably rare.
It might be more rare, correct. And my argument is that this bottle is in itself unique. To me, it's just this is a really cool bottle.
Yeah,
I think to me,
absolutely fantastic. It's super classy.
Yeah,
it is screaming Future Infinity bottle.
Yeah.
Once I'm done with that juice,
that becomes your
It will be. I agree 100% on them. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the juice because the juice is pretty rare. Not very many people. I think we had a video on this one. We compared it with E.H. Taylor. One of our viewers, he chimed in and said, "Hey, every time I see it, it's $200 or plus every time I go to the store, and I'm not willing to pay for that." And I don't disagree with him whatsoever.
Yeah, don't pay $200 for this.
It's really good. It's a really nice bourbon. Yeah. The smell, the flavor, it's definitely sweeter than the Blantons.
Yep.
It's just, for me, I could put the cat out of the bag. Like, to me, this is a winner of the 6.
Oh, that's changed. I think
it has. The more I've reflected on the flavor and the enjoyment, because I think originally I took E.H. Taylor.
You didn't very well eat earlier.
I didn't, and the reason and here's what I'm getting at is I think I was a little bit biased on the fact of how much I can get the E.H. Taylor. Was the juice good?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard battle.
Yeah.
It's a hard battle, and to me, I'm changing my mind. That E.H. The Rock Hill Farms to me was brilliant. Now, here's the MSRP for it, what you found.
Yeah, $60.
$60. And then here's again, we've posted this before, and it's through the roof. It's 2, 3, 4, and I even saw it for $1,000. It's almost
wow.
So it's just like I don't. You definitely have money you got to throw away for that. So again, we're talking. Wow. Listen, we're not talking lawyers or doctors here. We're talking about people on a budget and
banker.
Yeah, right. We're talking about people on a budget. And that's just not going to happen for us.
No, not even close.
So I don't know. What do you think? What would your favorite right now? I think you had
Taylor,
the E.H. Taylor.
I still do.
Okay.
I look at these three, noting that their differences as being about equal in taste for me. They're great.
And height.
This is lower than that, and then the rare breed would be right after Eagle Rare. Sorry, The Eagle Rare would probably fit in with the other folks there. Thank you very much.
Just giving them some visual aids, folks.
Okay, so then how about you?
Well, again, this is where this is a continuation of sitting on the fence. I mean, it's, do I want the oak? Do I want the sweet? That's going to vary every single time I sit down for a glass. It's between those two, and E.H. Taylor taking a very close third place on it. But it is such a good bourbon, and either one, absolutely. It would probably hit more of your classic bourbon notes.
I would say that
than Blanton's does.
I would say that,
but it is just such a good pour. And
if you're at a restaurant, you can find it for $20, $30 for a dram.
For a singular pour, absolutely.
I would just because I know that's a lot for a sniff. I've paid, I think, for a sniff of E.H. Taylor, I paid $15. Eagle Rare, I've paid $20. This one I've paid $15 for. So, like, to me,
or got a bag full of it for free.
That was in our story earlier.
We had that in an earlier release of this.
Well, either way, we wanted to talk about these because, one, they're fun to talk about. Well, there you go. Hey, thanks again for joining us. We wanted to go over some of the rare Buffalo Traces. We've been in this game for not even a year, and we've gotten our hands on these. So if you're new to this, hang in there. You're going to come across some stuff, and to be honest with you, it's fun. I know I race to try to find some of them, and I should just chill out.
Try to chill out, my man.
And enjoy when it comes to you. And I definitely encourage that. Just chill out, enjoy it. It's going to come to you. Yeah. You're going to get your hands on some of these things. So hang in there. If you haven't had your hands on some of this, it's going to happen. Get in the community as much as we're still trying to get within that community. Get in there and just keep your eyes open. So, Anyways, thanks again for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the show.
It's for all bourbon.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you later.